Heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched. Y'all know what this is. Now we gonna do this in the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history. Y'all, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. coming to you live and direct. This weekly program of the Black Panther Party Cubs here, Free 'em All Radio at Intellectual Radio, y'all. We lock and load this number in. You dig 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. For those who I'm not on Chairman Fred Jr. live on YouTube, but I'm on Intellectual Radio on YouTube. So again, because I'm having some technical difficulties. So leave it to me. We'll be using 2 tin cans in the stream because I'm horrible with this technology, y'all. But we're gonna make it happen, y'all. So again, y'all take a pause for the calls. Open those front windows and those back doors and let them know what it is. Wednesday, April 9th, been a full day. You know what I'm saying? Got some monumental moves we got to do. We'll get a couple of PSAs, people service announcements out the way. Just want to, just clench fist salute to the comrades, the Black Panther Party Cubs, the Nicholas Lee Foundation, and others. The supporter came out there with the groundbreaking of the Hampton House Garden. I think the address is 1100 South 11th in Maywood now. We used to be right there by the Hampton House, but y'all come on out there. We got some more areas. We got to plant some more. Got to get that eggplant, you know what I'm saying? And I heard a rumor there ain't no greens out there. Got to be some greens out there in the garden. Got to be some greens out there in the garden. So the Hampton House Community Garden, we did the groundbreaking this past April 4th. And we done it strategically. And it's strategically acknowledging the assassination dates of the late Dr. King as well as Lil Bobby Hutton, who was assassinated April 6, 1968, along with Dr. King being assassinated April 4th, 1968. So we broke ground the garden. Red Price in the building, right, man, my man. Hey, my brother Trustee Miguel Jones in the building. Love and respect right on Free 'em All. Yes, indeed. Glad to see y'all on deck with us. Let those know who don't see me on live on YouTube. We are on YouTube on Intellectual Radio. So again, y'all tap on in with us. We coming in on Instagram. Before we got some what's the term they be saying in LA factors of some forces in the building with us today, y'all. We're gonna have some updates about what's going on. And ironically, I'm set to hit the road to be in Minnesota, St. Paul. You gotta be real careful with that. I know you got to distinguish Minneapolis from St. Paul, like East St. Louis from St. Louis. Sometimes you have to be like Chicago, West Side, South Side. So I think it's Minneapolis. I'm gonna be speaking at this weekend about mass incarceration. So that's on the flyer. And Sister Sharon Brooks, if you listen in, call on in with us, you know what I'm saying? So you can give people a little more insight in regards to that venue that's going to be set Friday at 9 a.m. Then also in Mississippi, they're going to be Brother Markel and others. Matter of fact, Samir Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be down there and a host of others down in going through making some historical, retracing some historical moves down south. I initially planned to get down there, but I got reminded I can't be all in places at one time. But we definitely want y'all to call in. Definitely want y'all to call in. You dig? We want y'all to call in. And I get just on the Black Panther Party Code of Culture. Shout out to Ryan Coughlin, the team. They did the premiere of Sinners and touchdown to seeing that. They genius. Zenzi Cool. The whole team. It's a genius, a phenomenal piece. The premiere of that. Also, K Love, the event that we just had. They gave Mother Conrad Court and Jerry gave her flowers. You know what I'm saying? And it was so many. You talking about? Man, it was Black women were celebrated, not at the expense of cutting Black men. It was the balance. You know what I'm saying? I talk about that balance. It was a beautiful event. You know what I'm saying? I'm still riding up the momentum. For that phenomenal event. So K Love it did. So again, y'all, we at 708-223-8953. Before I tap in on my guests, I wanted to see if y'all want to call in and give us about them 2 events we got coming up. You know what I'm saying? And any PSAs that y'all may have. So feel free, tap in. But we're gonna be moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? Let me tap onto this coffee. And again, y'all, we on Instagram, we on Facebook. Also, we on YouTube at Intellectual Radio. So, so that everybody know that they can tap in with us, y'all. And y'all feel free to call in again, 708-223-8953. This weekend, I'm gonna be speaking about it. We're gonna be speaking as a panel. I'm set to be the keynote speaker. And sometimes you hear these different terms, growing prison industrial complex. And I struggle against this, such like euphemisms because it kind of waters it down. Because like even that term it kind of implies like it's some sort of natural phenomenon, like it's just growing on its own, as opposed to the mass kidnapping, of our people, people in general, but our people in particular. And I was doing an interview this morning. It was phenomenal. Journalists are phenomenal. Such from Chicago Defender, they doing a follow up on a piece that's in the Guardian that was released. The Black Panther Party Cubs, children of members of the Black Panther Party, and I was talking about the term when being locked up, and one brother reminded me, he said, remember I was critical with his mother. We was in front of our headquarters. He said, you kept telling my mother that my father didn't go to jail, he was taken to jail. He's had to understand the significance of why he kept saying that. And we say brutal terms for brutal realities, you did. And a lot of times you hear about people being released, and a lot of times we can get, we celebrate it. We should celebrate it, and you become immune to it. But one thing, Assata Shakur, former political prisoner, revolutionary Assata Shakur, said that being oppressed, you must constantly remind yourself to struggle to be able to distinguish what's normal and what's abnormal. Again, what's normal and what's abnormal. And it's a movie, City of God. A part in that movie. It's after the third time it becomes normal to you. You lose that sting. And we hear about, they call them, it's a term. They say that judge gave such some football years. A lot of these years, and after a while, you kind of get immune to it. And and then you hear about I heard such and such got out. They did 25 years, 30 years. And you become immune to these numbers, which we shouldn't. And our times, we celebrate. We glad these forces are back out, but we got to take a position that with Frantz Fanon, Nigerian theoretician, that said that we must be able to accept the concessions without compromising our principles. And when we say concessions, when the system gets its back up against the wall, one of its Achilles heels, one of its weaknesses is exposure, like turn the lights on. And to really be very clear, what is the actual purpose, of prisons? I hope a majority of our political maturity has gone past to believing that propaganda is about stopping crime. And the time that they target us, who they target, and when you hear about brothers and sisters getting out, you take into account now, like Winnie Mandela said, when a person is in prison, it's not just the prisoner that's impacted. You talk about families, communities, depriving the families. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about, what years, what could have happened, so on and so forth, who you could have impacted, and how it destabilizes a community. You know what I'm saying? The people. And I just really want us to just really, really struggle to look at this objectively, and not in some sort of demoralized and pitiful way. You know what I'm saying? But to be acknowledged. I like how I heard Captain Ibrahim Toure of the Burkina Faso, President of Burkina Faso, said something. So we talk about these situations. We're not seeking pity. But you know what I'm saying? We have to address this because one of the disadvantages in our people, in our community, it's a non-acknowledged war. So we want to struggle. Do we acknowledge these contradictions? And what's been going on? So people don't come to this reactionary thing like, oh, our community's messed up, so on and so forth. And just don't say, man, we glad they out. But the impact, the trickle down impact, impact our community and how we got, you know what I'm saying? And we got to have this type of discussions and we got to really challenge exposure. So we just can't be looking for future, comfortable with future generations going through it. As Field Marshal George Jackson said, that we fight for the unborn, the living, and the dead. You dig? So again, locked and loaded, y'all. 708-223-8953. We are here at Intellectual Radio. Got some guests in the building. First and foremost, this ain't our first time touching down. It ain't gonna be our last time touching down. I want to officially welcome you here to Free My Radio, my brother. and I want to turn this over. Many people may have heard, they heard different, probably on some media outlets and just in the community. People, heard about you and other forces to Marquette 4. But if you can, give us an introduction, who you are, and some background for those who might not know.
My name is Troshawn McCoy. I'm part of the Marquette Park 4. We were wrongfully convicted of double murder and armed robbery in 1995. Collectively, we served 70 years in prison. Two of my co-defendants received natural life. One received 20 years, and I received 55 years. And all that 55 years, I did 22.
Wow. This is 1995?
Yes, it's 1995. I came home in 2017.
How old were you?
Went in at 17. Came home a few months before I turned 39.
Wow. 17 to 39, prime time, what's for those who, because we definitely relate, like I said, we gonna talk about even some of our contact, even behind those walls. But for those who may not, may not even be familiar, like, what type of discussions, what type of feelings, to be gone from that period of time, stuff that when I say that period of time, when many people may be thinking about prom, relationships, children, different dynamics, just just or a 9-to-5 job, whatever the case may be, to be snatched and kidnapped from the community. What type of thoughts do you have? Flashback and think about that time period.
I think the first, maybe while I was fighting the case, it was just a shock, just coming to grips with it.
Yeah.
But after I was convicted and sent to prison, that's when it really began to like hit home.
Yeah.
That I won't be getting out of it for quite a while. And I think the hardest part of the journey, a horrible journey, was like my 20s.
Yeah.
Because those are like the best years of your life.
Yeah.
And you just sitting there, just watching them, year by year just go by and you stuck.
Yeah.
So like that was hurtful, but maybe by the time I got to probably 27, 28, that's when I became like a prisoner, quote unquote. And at that point I started to become, desensitized.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm here till I get out. And which is a sad kind of, outlook to have, but it was my reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just, buckled in and just got to, doing my time the best way I could.
Yeah. You say fighting the case. Doing that when he was, I said sometimes like those different stages, go to the police station, cuffed up for the word states turn, they're gonna charge you. I think I call them like those damn states. I can't. And even though we generally know how the system, how to get out on us, but you say like it was still this thought like when you fighting the case, I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna be convicted for, I'm saying, I'm in the bogus lock me up. What's your thought process?
Well, right up until about maybe 2 months before I went to trial, I had, I hope it was kind of like 50-50 that I may go home. But I remember I had an attorney visiting Cook County Jail, and my attorney, because what convicted us was, false confessions. So my attorney,
which by the way, Chicago was is the capital.
The capital
for this,
yeah, for confessions.
Yeah.
So he showed me, my false confession. I'm just looking over it, like it just set in, like I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
Like I just knew then that wasn't no getting around it, because I didn't have anything else in my favor at that time to to combat this false statement.
Yeah.
So I knew like, yeah, I'm gonna be going to the penitentiary. I just didn't know for how long, but I knew I was going.
Yeah. Let me tag team with you, because let me play. It's a term we use as opposed to saying devil's advocate. Let me play state's advocate for those people just tapping in. You hear terms like that, they say like, well, confession of, and you got some people that even so detached. They say, well, why would Chicago? Why would these confessions be happening? And Pac had this it's a piece in one of Tupac's songs say, "Cats copping pleas because of stressing," and he was, and it's a whole dynamic about how intentionally the conditions are, how horrid the conditions are in Cook County Jail. But even before this, let me give y'all some, if y'all can, go Google, type in infamous Area 2, Area 3 violence. We done had many people who came on here from infamous Lieutenant John Burge with the torture, who was, for lack of better terms, it was a homegrown terrorist. He was trained in Fort Benning, Georgia. Lieutenant John Burge trained in Fort Benning, Georgia. He was armed with like a Navy SEALs elite team. And the infamous black box with, strategic, electric shock brothers. I'm sure women too on his private parts. He was strategic with it. He had Boudreaux, had a whole team, like an elite team of hitmen, and I'm sure hitting women on their side. And these
Boudreaux still on the force.
Boudreaux still on the force. And they was given accommodations. They was, and not only with these torture, like some just detached, operate on his own. It's cases in like a orchestra of horror, or orchestra of horror music. The state's attorney, the judge, up to this, the whole machine, the dynamic. It's stories about. They say like where the screams was so loud from being tortured on third floor, Area 2, now Area 3 violent crime, that the paneling used to fall down. But the case of the Wilson brothers, Jack Andrew Wilson. This is this was common knowledge. In fact, London, Amnesty International, this later on came out, but this was like common knowledge that was going down. And in fact, I also recommend, I think it's maybe 1988, a piece in Chicago Tribune by John Cass, niggas by the pound. Again, niggas by the pound. This was a term, this was prior to Mayor Richard Daley becoming the mayor, who was the state's attorney. And on his tenure, it was common knowledge about these competitions they would have with the state's attorney's office on who can frame the most people. The most, excuse me, I'm going to be specific, niggas in particular. And it was called niggas by the pound. They would weigh up the case, and the booty, if you will, the reward for whoever got the most frame ups. You might take them to lunch, so on and so forth. This and some people hearing this, you might try to, and you know what I'm saying. And I look like, even right now, this present political climate, people are seeing certain different. They're like, wow, I can't believe this. People being detained, being shipped off to different countries. You had the black sites here in Chicago. This is where police will pull up, and they would they would acknowledge you that you have ski masks, vans pull up and take you to these black sites, and but a lot of people call them whoopee stations, but these are underground places. You had no rights, no phone calls, none of this, and it became an issue, and it was acknowledged when a white individual was taken to this black site, you know what I'm saying, and they said, whoa, wait a minute, we got a problem. It's kind of like what Richard Pryor said, a lot of times white people ride through our neighborhoods and they'll see us out there with dope needles in their arms. That's a shame. And they'll come home and their son or daughter have a can of Budweiser beer. They say, oh my God, it's an epidemic. But this, I want to struggle to put this in context. So when you hear these different terms, how Chicago is a capital for these false confessions, and so they're going back, and you got to deal with the contradiction of these individuals getting rewards, and about, you saw these cases. I don't feel it might be Boudreaux in particular. I think that Boudreaux's thing was with the youth in particular.
And Cassidy, that's who got me.
Cassidy,
James Cassidy.
James Cassidy, and what's this case?
The Ryan Harris case.
The Ryan Harris. If y'all can't, I'm speaking. Take notes on these cases too, y'all. And this kind of go back to what I said about how it impact the whole people. She was about 15, 16.
She was 12.
12.
And it was 2 boys, 7 to 8 years old. He had accused of killing her and raping her.
I remember this case. I remember
1998.
In 1990, I was in Statesville. In fact, that's when I started back writing poetry. I wrote this poem called "They Are Our Babies, Man." I got into it with guys in the bar, but I remember this vividly. It defied logic. You know what I'm saying? I mean everything. I think they said there was some sperm on her, something like that. These young boys. I mean, it was. I said it was so crazy how they hooked the little brothers up on this case.
7 to 8, you can't even produce sperm.
Exactly. It defied. Sperm. I remember this vividly, and I remember I was so. You can't. It defied all up. They had framed these two brothers. I remember throwing my radio out the bars on the gallery because it was a show called Page One on WGCI, and it was just like I said, damn, they convicting these babies. Now I threw my radio out. I was so intent. I was so pissed off, and I wrote a poem called "They Are My Babies, Man," and these two, and one of them was doing real good in schools, and I remember talking about this. One of them took real pride in his hair, his hair braids, and they say watching the news, and he asked who was that. They said that's you. They seen a picture drawn on TV, and he tried to cut his braids out of his head. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Later on, in all the media coverage about this here, and there's different details of one maybe Cassie or Boudreaux. All of us, that's coincidentally, while they interrogating these children, they get in a high-speed chase with them in the car. Same police, these same quote-unquote Sherlock Holmes and Columbos that solved all these crimes. Is a white lady supposed to get raped or something, murdered. He supposed to took him to McDonald's. He cracked this case. And you think about it, you say, man, I mean, you ain't no rocket science to figure out, you know what I'm saying? But it was common knowledge growing up. And it was just a case of bad police, the whole system, the machine, the state's attorney, the judge, and the media. Because you know what I'm saying? I mean, the articles, all that. And again, we glad, you know what I'm saying, that you and so many others, y'all done touched down. But this, I say with our people, I wish we could have some sort of like they had in Nazi Germany, the Nuremberg hearings, where they had these trials. Where they brought out the soldiers and they asked them, so what role did you play in the gas chambers? And a lot of their defense was, I forgot what the defense was, and they just taking orders. But
because these are actually war crimes against
citizens.
You
better believe it.
Domestic war
you
crimes
better believe
against
it.
Citizens.
And we have to struggle putting this correct context. And they are war crimes against right. That's why I said a lot of people shot it. And stuff is being talked about now. I can't believe this is happening. It's been going down here, you know. And I'm just again, we don't take for granted. For you and others, you know what I'm saying, to come out alive, and then with your, you know what I'm saying, so we commend you, how your sanity intact, and also to be able to talk about it. We need to, because I was on this trip. They were saying, "Chairman, you ain't driving." I don't drive on the expressway right now, because they would transfer me so much. And they would move me around on different, you know what I'm saying, on different expressways. They had me on the circuit. You know, they said the circuit was illegal. And that impacts me. And I think about the Field Marshal George Jackson has said, no man, I'm gonna paraphrase it, no man or no woman leaves that place unaffected. And just, you know, I mean, like, just even, you know, I don't care how long you out, so on and so forth. But I want to make sure we want to put this in context. I know a lot of us hear this term like rehabilitation, correctional center, so on and so forth. And these are names that haunt people to this day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see, it's common knowledge. You hear some people are fearful to even speak about them. Some people don't even drive past Cook County Jail, these police stations. But these are dynamics that must be talked about. You know what I'm saying? And in the time that we snatched up from our community, if you put in context, you fighting the case. You know what I'm saying? Then so I when that the verdict, you know what I'm saying, like you say, you back and forth, they showing you this and that paperwork. And so when does it hit? Like, okay, man, like it's going down. Like, you know, something. I'm gone from the streets.
Like I say, after that maybe a month, 2 months before my trial, and I read that confession, like I knew I wasn't gonna beat the case.
Yeah.
Like the fix was in.
Fix was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not in, it's not on the books. But what had happened was it was fingerprint evidence that was fraudulently concealed in 1997 that could have freed me. So that would have been a direct contradiction to the statement.
Right.
But they withheld that
this
and sent us to the penitentiary. Now they say at that time, that they couldn't find no clean prints because 2 people were killed and 2 cars were stolen off the lot. It was a car lot that was robbed. So they said that they had dusted the cars for prints and they couldn't get no clean prints. So years later, when Northwestern doubled back and dusted the prints, it's clean fingerprints everywhere.
Wow. This is how long? This how long?
This was maybe 15 years later.
15 years later. So the Northwestern, the Innocence Project.
Yeah.
Innocence Project. To my 15 years. Shout out to the Innocence Project too, with regards to this and other cases. 15 years later, they can get the prints, but at the time, all the forensic science Chicago police at the time, they couldn't get the prints.
Exactly.
Dig that. This adds to the contradiction that, a lot of times people, not even if you just want to start, the question, another logical question, say, well, man, if you want to stop the crime, I tell people, I'm saying, like if you got the ability to, if you really want to get who done it, and I tell people, if you believe that the police want to stop crime, you believe Don King want to stop boxing. It's an economy based on this, you know what I'm saying? And listen to the economy, what it does to our community, you know what I'm saying? Generation after generation. How was it, like even this, the transfer, they leave you in one prison, or you want to transfer, just take us through that.
I touched about 4 prisons. I started out in Stateville, and from Stateville, I was sent to a prison on the border of Iowa. Then they shipped me back across the state to a prison on the border of Indiana, then all the way down south on the border of Kentucky.
Wow.
So when I came home, I come home from Shawnee.
Wow.
Like 15 minutes outside of Kentucky.
Yeah, Shawnee
I was so far south that when I came home on the Greyhound bus, we had to actually go into St. Louis, then come back into Illinois and come up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how far south I was.
Yeah, you bring back memories, just even the name of some of these places, and just to kind of put stuff in context. Of time. It's a book, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, I think by D. Brown. Told about the natives, indigenous people, and like even a lot of the counts that they would take off the reservation, and you will hear some of these same names, Shawnee, you some of these same places, and this with these various prisons, these concentration camps, you know what I'm saying? I would they would bounce me different places. I was held captive. We crossed paths with what, Stateville? Statesville.
About 2001, maybe 2002.
Yeah. And we just stopped by the Hampton House. We was commenting on that, and in Statesville, Chairman Fred Sr. was there, held briefly in 1969 before they transferred him to Menard, 1969 also.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was there in Statesville, and I met brothers there. They say that that even in some of the war stories I heard about when he got there, how they reference you by your number as opposed to your name. It was his only response be, I'm Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton, Illinois Chapter Chairman of the Black Panther Party, and they deemed him to be like, say he'd be criminally mentally insane for refusing to answer to the number. And I draw the correlation to that, like during the era of chattel slavery, they had this psychological disease. They said if you try to be free, you had this disease called drapetomania. They said something's wrong with you. I tell people I still suffer from it because I want to be free. And they transferred him to Menard, and I met some of these same individuals in 1999 that told me that their deal was with the warden to hit what they call problem prisoners. And when Chairman Fred got there in 1969, the deal was to get down on them. But when he hit the yard, he politicized them to the point they told the warden, we on Chairman Fred's security. anything happen to him, we holding you accountable for it. And I'm just giving y'all some and you know what I'm saying. And a lot of these different dynamics still they still exist, you know, to this day. So to give you an insight the dynamics of prison. I was watching some video footage of Georgia Jackson, the mother of Field Marshal George Jackson, also Jonathan Jackson, after they assassinated George Jackson. And I was up, me and my comrade from Louisiana chapter was on the phone just last night watching footage, you know what I'm saying, talking about the assassination of George Jackson and different things they did try to break him in prison. And was there programs on different prisons? Like I know people hear about this term. Where did you you got these 3 great meals?
I mean, what they did, but it was just how can I put it? It was, put it to you like this: the information that we were being taught was just antiquated.
Dig that.
So if you took a class, let's just say, for instance, I'm just throwing a number out there, let's just say in 2003.
Yeah.
You're getting taught out a book from maybe 1990, 91.
Wow. Yeah. I'm
so it's like
I'm flashback when you said
the information that you get is not even useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than, you know, math or science, that's universal.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like it's useless. Yeah, so
we crossed paths in Stateville, and I was later released. I Stateville twice. I was taking Stateville in 1998, then bounced around. I was taking the TAMs, the Sumax. Sumax in 1998, they came on the yard, and I remember telling myself, because you remember it was TAMs and Sumax, was big discussion. You know, it was kind of like these rumors going like who gonna get taken to TAMs, you know what I'm saying? Who and they had people like on pins and needles.
Yeah.
Like in TAMs, for those who listening, tapping in, is a Supermax. And I remember on the yard. I remember debating with Marcelli. The one that was in the cell with you, just for those who are not familiar with that. But and he said, "No, Chairman, they ain't take you to TAM this for." I said, "I'm telling you, they coming." Because in Big Muddy River, we was on a hunger strike, and I forgot his name. Was it Myers? He was a former superintendent or something. He had commented that when they opened the Supermax, I would be occupying one of the first cells. And this is in 1994. And in 1998, I was they would call different brothers in particular, like who had names like leadership, you know what I'm saying? And they'd call them on visits, and you won't see them no more.
Yeah.
And
that's how
he played it. You know what I'm saying? To the point, I remember Cass was like scared to go on visits. You know, it was like, man, they ain't no visit. You know, they're gonna kidnap you. And it's like it trickled down impact was the place, because Stateville in particular, it was historically known as like the nucleus, like you know what I'm saying? That was like Pontiac used to be known like the Thunderdome, like the gladiating school. But Stateville throughout the country was known as like the thinkers and
headquarters.
Headquarters. There you go. Yep. Stateville. If it's something like, say, some mandates, like another prison, they say it's a new rule or something. They say, well, they're gonna make prisoners put all the stuff in the box or something. And so they said, man, we challenging that. And they said, well, man, no. They said, no, it came from Stateville. That was official.
Yeah, Stateville set the tone.
Stateville set the tone. Stateville set the tone. That was, in fact, I recall being in Joliet for a minute, I tell people Joliet and Stateville was geographically close, but politically a million miles away from each other.
Yes.
And we get a caller coming in, but I remember I told this young brother, he's just turned 17. I said, look, brother, you need to catch a ticket and get taken to Stateville. He said, why? I said, man, get some structure in you, man. Okay, what I do is hit this here. Welcome to Freedom on Radio. Can you hear me? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Deputy Field Marshal?
No, this is Chairman Fred. This is Chairman Fred Hampton.
Oh, Chairman. Hey, Chairman.
Hey, who have who?
It's formerly known as co-host.
Oh, I ain't recognize. Listen, you said you can't shake that. You can't shake that that term, co-host. For those who are first time listeners to us, I know who we have here. This is Robin Allen, aka the Lady of Rage. I say depending on your what age you are, y'all. Baby D from next Friday, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Say Afro Puff Lady of Rage, but also for Free Up On Radio, y'all. Our co-host, you can't shake that. You know, you put too much work in. You dig?
Well, I ain't trying to shake it. I know it's been a long time.
Yeah. They say like I think in the army they say something. Somebody say like a colonel, he can never he or she they're colonel. That's it. That's they NFL. So, yeah. So you're the co-host. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on to the brother, Mr. McCoy.
How you doing?
I'm excellent.
It's good. It's good.
And yourself?
I'm good. Good. I'm blessed.
Good. Yes. I've been listening. I came in a little late, and I just wanted to ask about, when you all were arrested or when you all were being interrogated, and the ages was like 15 to 16?
We were 15, 16, 17, and 19.
Okay. And they didn't allow you all, like the tactics they used were like strong arm tactics, like intimidation, and you're not going to see your parents, and you can't have a phone call. Did they?
Yeah, it wasn't so much. Well, it wasn't physical at all. It was more so psychological warfare. Just playing, mind games with us, good cop, bad cop. And, after, 6, 7, 8 hours of that, you're going to fold. I don't care who you are, if you're that young. And this is probably our first, real interaction with, that type of experience. So it was only a matter of time before we broke.
And that's what I was thinking, like, you're so young and impressionable at that age, like, you don't know which way to go. They telling you, if you don't confess, if you don't say this, well, say what we telling you to say, and then you say it, you can go home. Or if you don't say this, you're gonna get the death penalty. You're never gonna see your family again. You're going to prison for life. Was it stuff like?
I mean, that? Almost to the letter. Almost verbatim, yeah.
So, and then I do remember hearing you say that the fingerprints evidence is what could have freed you, but also that is what freed you as well, right? Later on, because they were saying you didn't have fingerprints at first, and then they found that it was somebody else who did this. The fingerprints didn't match.
Yeah, so we went to trial in 1998, and at that time they were saying that because they had fingerprinted us like maybe 2 to 3 times while we were incarcerated in Cook County Jail fighting the case, and they kept saying that the fingerprints that came back were inconclusive, which was a lie. They hid them. But after the Center on Wrongful Convictions, Northwestern University, they got a hold of the case, and they redusted the cars. They found prints everywhere. So this finally, got in the course about maybe 2013. So I say about a good 15, 16 years later.
And what made them go back to that case? Like, I heard you say that you had just buckled in, like, it is what it is. And what made them revisit the case?
Because if you got, because it was not just myself, writing to this university. 2 of my co-defendants were also writing, so it's like, okay, they connected the dots. All of these 3 guys on the same case, pretty much saying the same thing. We gotta look into this. So all of these guys have coerced false confessions and nothing else. So that raised some eyebrows.
Right, you don't get them type of odds in Las Vegas.
It's something to this.
Yeah.
And so they got to digging, and they're like, okay, well, let us, fingerprint these cars again. And lo and behold, it was 4 of us. These fingerprints led to 4 other guys, grown men who were like convicted criminals, not 15, 16, 17, and 19-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ryan Harris case is adult too.
I heard you mention the James Cassidy, and I read that I think it's Bordeaux, Kenneth Bordeaux.
Boudreaux. Yeah.
Boudreaux.
Yes.
And he was under John Burge, and Chairman has talked about John Burge and Cook County Jail. For years on Freedom on Radio. But I also read that it was like 6 months before the Marquette 4 case. It was those two were involved along with a Valdez and a Sergeant Tudor in the Inglewood 5.
Yeah.
And it was a similar case. And then I saw something about the Dixmoor 5, where all of these people who were accused were teenagers and younger people, and these fabricated confessions. And I did see where, I heard y'all mention that Chicago was the false confession capital of the world.
The wrongful conviction capital of the world, too.
And the wrongful conviction.
And the wrongful conviction capital of the world, too.
Oh.
Both.
But it just made me, it threw me back to the Central Park 5. And like I said, I never heard of the Inglewood 5 or the Dixmoor 5. So it seemed like a track record with the Inglewood 5 and the Dixmoor, with the young putting these false cases, putting these false arrests on younger people and breaking them and having them confess to something that they didn't do.
Yeah, and if you notice, like, they get us all in bunches, 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
4s and 5s.
Yeah.
Those, what was that? The Central, co-host, you mentioned the Central Park 5. What was the name of the piece?
When they see us.
When they see us.
Not like us. I mean, what is it? Not like us.
When they see us.
It was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I always tell you, of course, the movie can't do justice to what happened. I do recommend people check that out, and they watch it. As you speak on flashback and on that, and in fact, one of the brothers I talked to a while ago when I was in New York.
Corey Wise.
Yeah. We talked to directly. Corey Wise. I'm gonna follow with him too. Yeah. All of them. And that's something, what I'm saying? And it'd be one thing if it was just happening in one city. You say, okay, that's how it go. But at one point, you had to say, wait a minute. Similar to like you just said, the students in Northwestern said, what's the odds of these young guys saying the same, point out some of the same contradictions? And Central Park, in New York, and co-hosts, you just threw out them different, you brought back memories, you know what I'm saying? The Inglewood, you know what I'm saying? And you had to say, well, either these police are inept, you know what I'm saying? This is, it's done by design. And also we get shout out brother Paul, who we all know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so I think they work on put some things together to help get this out. Get and others get y'all story, get our story told, because a lot of these be microcosms, and you know what I'm saying, of what happens on a day-to-day basis in our community, and it's not an aberration like people just think it's just a bad situation. And you know what I'm saying, because a lot of times we don't talk about it, because even in Iraq, the prisoners in Abu Ghraib, Baghdad, they were asking out of the prisoners. The photos came out, they was tortured, stripped them naked, put the dogs on them. Two things some of the prisoners said. They said, why didn't y'all talk about this? And a lot of prisoners say, who you gonna tell? You it's like you tell this, you complaining to the same people that's doing it. And other prisoners say it's so humiliating, so embarrassing what they done to us, you know what I'm saying? And again, we commend you and the others, you know what I'm saying? We have to get this out, you know what I'm saying? Again, you'll be like surprised on how common this contradiction is. Yeah.
Your family and your family had to do this time with you. Did you while you were away, did you lose anyone? Did anyone, did you suffer a loss like that while you were gone?
Did I? I lost maybe about 7 family members.
Wow.
During that time. My mother just passed away last year. Rest in peace. She got to see me come home. So she's seen 7 years of me being free before she passed away. But yeah, I lost a lot of family members.
And the toll it took on even on her health. What you know what I'm saying? Dealing with that.
One of the direct causes, of her, getting sick and ultimately passing.
Yeah.
The psychological effects, the emotional effects, the physical effects. It makes me think of the young man who was in New York, and
I know you going.
He was released, but he ended up committing suicide.
Khalif Browder.
Khalif Browder. Yeah.
Yes. Because it doesn't just affect, it affects everyone. Everyone suffers.
Yeah.
People often ask me, like, how do you maintain your sanity after going through something like that? And to be honest, I just gotta tell people, like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I guess I just built up such a resistance. It's like you get to a point in your mind where you just, like I said earlier, it's like I'm here, till I get out. You accept it.
Yeah.
And so it's like now that I'm out, it's just, I will say this. It's like now that I'm out, it's like I'm in a race against time. I'm trying to do so much because I know I only got so much time left.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the negative effects of it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
it's reality.
It's like every morning I wake up, it's like I'm rushing. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. It's like I don't even I cannot allow myself to take my time to do nothing.
Ooh, yeah, man. Wow. Real talk.
Yeah, I'm just in a race against time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I lost so much time.
Yeah. Yeah. Real talk.
Just imagine, I tell people like that's been out here their whole life. Just imagine your life being shut off from 17 to almost 39 years old. And just think of all the things you did in that time frame. So everything you did in that time frame, I missed.
I think also too, like in being such in a close vicinity of dealing with, life and death in those places, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I say, so many cases where I say it this way: kiss the casket, tango with torture, and dance with death. I think survivor's remorse also is us too. A lot of times, I literally find myself feeling I'm resting. I'm like, damn. When Abu Jamal, he ain't getting no, you know what I'm saying, man. I think about all those who held captive, you know what I'm saying, who still there, and that's survivor's remorse. It hits because you literally seeing it on close quarters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think back in Stateville, when they had placed me in our house SEG, and right
behind the steel
doors, and this before the moratorium on the death penalty. And literally, they put that green tarp up when they finna execute somebody, and that joker, that criminal, the teller was Machiavellian. How he would before they did the executions,
a
monster. They would give out ginger cookies and this fried chicken for the. These jokers something else, and they this
by design.
By design. I know I cracked on this one cat. He I think the state was set to do a double execution one time. And this one cat on the gallery was banging on the door, and he asked the guard, he said, "Hey, where our chicken and cookies? Don't y'all supposed to be doing the execution?" And I said, "Damn, what if they forgot? You know what I'm saying, about executing? You won't get your chicken and cookies." I said, this machine is so Machiavellian. And the cell I was in was directly, you know what I'm saying, right where you could see the execution was going on. And brother Robert Johnson, he had commented, who also released, he had commented to me at this venue. It was like a woo. What was that? We just was at activist Jasmine Smith. They organized. We just seen each other on 39th, 35th.
That was 87th to Cottage Grove.
No, 30th. At King Drive. We walked. We just all the prisoners. The panel. We was on 30th. Right off King Drive. We just.
I wasn't there. I went there for that.
I could have sworn you was at Man, I thought you was there. But it was like a who's who. I could have sworn I thought I walked out right on College Green Drive.
One of my rappers might have been
okay.
There. Yeah.
Man, but it's just tripped out because like it was so I flashback to, you know what I'm saying, like the atmosphere, like I mean, it was just
like you back in the joint.
Back in the joint. You can feel us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can feel us. You can feel it in the energy, you know what I'm saying? And I just flashback, man, just you can feel us in there, man. I'm talking about, and I flashback. I thought about it. I said, damn, I flashback to some others who still there. You know what I'm saying? It hit. It always hits. It always, you know what I'm saying? I tell people that something I'm going through writer's block. I have to break up sometime and like literally go get some ramen noodles and some crackers and just sit there, you know what I'm saying? And just to flash, get back in mode, get back my zone, writing, But yeah, the energy was thick there, man. Yeah.
But I mean, you got to realize, like, this when you met these people. That's automatically your mind just goes back.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like with us talking now, like we going back.
Real talk. I remember I was speaking in North Carolina. I was out for about 5 years, and I was going to speak at this college, and the brother upstairs, I come asking him. We was at a hotel, and I kept asking him what cell was he in, and everybody kept looking at me. I said, man, and it hit me. I said, damn. And I just give me a minute. I went back to the hotel room, just sat down for a minute. I said, damn. The impact, and we, like I say, we're fortunate to have people to touch, to connect back with. And I just want to say this to those who got loved ones, touch back, this is designed to, to take the humanity away. I'm glad that wasn't all. I still got it. We still got it. But also, you have to. It's a part in the movie Judas and Black Messiah where I heard it. I guess it kind of was crispy when I heard it. I was watching the movie again recently. And Daniel Kaluuya, who was portraying Chairman Fred, said that Dominique Fishback was portraying Deborah Johnson. A part of me had to die. In order for me to live, a part of me had to die. And I said, damn. I thought about that, you know what I'm saying? And I tell you, I said, even fighting this system, you don't want to become them. You don't see, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, I think even when I coming out of town, Supermax, I remember I tried to go back. I got the Menard. I want to go play basketball, and when the crowd kind of said, "Whoa, back up for a minute," I just because
you're used to being isolated.
Yeah.
And it's like when you come home though, like you wear prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just look somebody in their eyes and they swear like you mean, but I'm just looking in your eyes as I'm talking to you.
Yes, real talk.
But you got this look about you that just intimidates people. And I've been home 8 years and I still go through that right now.
You know what else too? I spoke in the prison. We showed the movie in Fishkill Prison in New York, and something that I couldn't. In this young lady Madeline work with, which helps Madison. We took the movie on tour to some prisons, and she worked some years in prisons. And she said, and I said something about. They told me. We committed to going to this one prison. I said, well, if we committed to, we got to do it. I said, our word. And then she said, so she said, yeah. She said, prisoners take that seriously. She said, it's, in most cases, that's all you got.
That's all you got.
I said, damn, I know. But to articulate that way, I said, your word. I said, that's something that means. I said, but to look at your property is taken from you, your clothing, your mail, your visitation, your word.
It's everything.
It's everything. I heard people try to say, oh yeah, try to break it down different astrology signs. So I said, no, it's a different dynamic. That prison dynamic, it's something about that word, man. Your word.
Because depending on where you are, your word is either life or death.
Yes. They make jokes about me. Say, man, Chairman Fred, if he say he gonna be there, he gonna be late. But if he say he gonna be there, he gonna be there. He gonna be there. And it hit me. I'm telling you, we was in we was in this prison, and when she worked in the prison, she's a counselor or something, and she just said it so nice. I said, I see putting that context, I take it for granted. If you say this, your word, you know what I'm saying? And she said, yeah. And we say, that's all you got. That's all you got. Yeah, I mean, you take everything from you. They can't your word. Real talk.
Even if your word puts you at a disadvantage, you keep it.
Oh man, come on with it. Come on with it.
Yeah.
Come on with it. Man, real talk, man, real. People, man, Chairman, you can't do this. And I said, man, if I said this, man, your word, man.
You gotta stand on it.
Gotta stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, it could be life or death. You said, man, I'm in situations, man, Stateville, the beatings were so. I got the Captain Manny. They had a beat down crew, and the beatings were so intense. And I remember put my ear to the ground, say, okay, let me see. And people were sending me different kites on the doors. Chairman, don't talk to this guy because he's a snitch. I say, I can't see. If I don't know, you might be the ward. I don't know who outside this door. And I said, we're gonna organize a hunger strike. And I remember on which day, and it was certain gallery of people who I'd never seen. We had the word. We had to move. We moved in sync. We said we're not eating this day. And you know what I'm saying? And you can depend on certain. I said certain people who I got to know just through their voices. You know what I'm saying? You hearing through them, but your word that has serious. You know, like you said, even if it puts you at a disadvantage.
Yes.
Even if it puts you at a disadvantage, you said it. Your word. But to put in the context, what that's yeah, you've been deprived of everything else. We say, man, you can't take this from me. Your word, real talk.
That's all you got.
Man. We live and direct, y'all, on Freedom on Radio, on Spirit of Making History, Taking History, and Taping History. Got a co-host in the building. We man, yes indeed. And this is y'all feel free if y'all want to, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Coach. You gonna make up time for not being online with us for a while too. You know what I'm saying? So feel free. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask Mr. McCoy, do you stay in contact with the people that you were charged with?
Every now and then I see them. Sometimes we message each other through social media, but occasionally I do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so your life after captivity, it has been, well, I know you said you didn't say making up for lost time. You said you go at a fast pace. So what is it that you do or you're trying to do since your release?
Well, currently, currently I have 4 businesses. I have a non-for-profit organization, the Troshana Dana McCoy, me and my wife, the Troshana Dana McCoy Foundation. I have McCoy Luxury Transportation Services, which is a black car and exotic car rental service.
Oh my God! Y'all do this weekend. I get it.
I have the McCoy Promotions and Investments Company, and I also have Shakir Property, which is my real estate company. So I'm very, very busy.
Wow.
Well, you know you're gonna have to leave the information while you're on Freedom On, so we know how to. If we're trying to get some real estate or rent a car or whatever it is, we're gonna have to get that information on how to get involved with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we currently still getting the website set up, but the COO of all my companies, I'll leave his number with brother Fred.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you come back all this open airways for you all the time, you know. Yeah.
And you said your wife.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be nosy, but I am. So was she your girlfriend all along, like when you were first arrested, or did you meet her after?
No, I met her after I got out.
Okay.
About maybe 2.5 years after I was home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little happiness in your life.
Yeah, I know. My little ray of sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you working on a smaller ray of sunshine? Y'all have any kids?
Yeah, we working on it.
Okay. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Coles, you come back in, guns blazing on questions.
Hitting on all cylinders, ain't she?
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yes, indeed. I'm just, like I said, I don't take for granted that even that discussion, because the purpose, the purpose of these places is to take your humanity, to take, whether it be take you out physically and to deprive you of that, So I don't take for granted we even able to have the type of conversations that, So I just want, and I want people to understand that too, like, you look at our communities and how many, you don't know what a person's been through. I remember when I first got out, I was out about a week, and I was about 63rd, something, maybe a race scene or something by this park, and the sister I went to high school with, and she had been going through some struggles, and I said, is that her? And then she told me it was her, and I said, oh, I cried. I said, man, I was locked up. I said, yeah. I said, you ain't reach out to support the case. You ain't no letters. You didn't say free. I ain't hear you say free Fred. And then she said, man, she said, I was locked up. I said, what? And she just told me the story, what she went through. I was like that. And I stepped back and I looked at everybody different. I just looked around in our community. I said, man, this is, I didn't know that I know her, but you never know what we, saying? And so, and it's so common in our community, what I'm saying? What we, saying, type of, and I tell you, you come up out of it, you be so happy to get up out of it. I think Scarface boys that said life like you come into a storm, you in a storm, you just getting up out of a storm. And so with that being said, y'all, we got to get some universal umbrellas, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We get some universal umbrellas because in one way or another, we all being hit directly, indirectly, covertly and overtly. And we don't have the luxury of Dr. Fields in our community. We don't have no couches, psychiatrist couches in our community. A lot of times therapy sessions got to be, crack house or the liquor store or something of the sort. But in spirit of steel, sharpening steel, and men and women sharpening the men and women. We have to be able to have certain conversations. We got to acknowledge this. We got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? What's happening. And the old axiom says, all men, paraphrasing, all men and women fall down, but great men and women get back up. And but in addition to that, not just with our people not just fall down, they pushing us, they knocking us down. I know it's hard for people to believe. I'm talking about these criminals, these bourgeois and birds. Like hunters. They come out through the gate, like man, making moves. They coming to get us. They coming to get us. This ain't no, oh man, there's something, man, they made a mistake and got these 4 children, locked them up. Man, and you can sell that snake oil. Imagine this before in concert, not coming to tell you, yeah, man, these 4 people. Just go to fingerprints. I'm talking just base. At some point, it's the conspiracy. That's something with us. We don't believe that we worthy of somebody targeting us like that. We don't believe that somebody would even go that far. It's saying they had one of them cases on that niggas by the pound. It came out. They got dog's blood. And I forgot what the case was. They had got a dog blood and framed somebody for a murder and said it was human blood. You know what I'm saying? And you say, who goes to this, the lengths of this? You know what I'm saying? And the target children, you know what I'm saying? The impact. And we got to acknowledge that. We got to acknowledge ain't no war on drugs, ain't no war on guns, ain't no war on gangs. It's war on our black asses, y'all. Real talk.
The song that just came to my mind, though, I got to just put it out there. The taxpayers of Chicago, specifically Cook County, have paid out over $1 billion in lawsuit money since 1996.
Wow.
Over $1 billion.
Yeah. Man. For
all of these different crooked cops.
Man. I'm talking about resources for everything, for potholes in school. So even if you don't come from morality thing to say, man, that's wrong what's happening to you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come from your economic status, say, man, how this going down? You did? And then these police, these pigs, they got immunity. They ain't got this don't come out their pocket.
So what they do is they take them off the force and send them down to Florida with their pension.
Yeah.
Take their pension away. Now we talking.
Yeah. A criminal psychologist has said that behavior is affected by consequences. Exactly. Behavior is affected by consequences. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? No repercussion. You feel like, man, do what it do. Yeah. Do what it do. Y'all, we live and direct in the spirit of making history, taking history, taping history, y'all. Y'all feel free to call in, as we say, Cub in with us, y'all, at 708-223-8953. Feel free to tap in with us, y'all.
And Chairman, the live feed on Facebook is down.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's what it says on my end. I don't know if that's on all ends.
Somebody just asked for the call-in number 708-223-8953.
It's on the flyer. It's wrong.
Huh? Okay.
On the flyer, it's
okay. Oh, so it's okay. Co-host, give me a minute. Okay. Come on, another question too, Coach. Tapping in. We're gonna free the line of 1 second. Cause I thought we used to have about 8 people on here one time. Them days over with. Never did. One at a time. Okay. So Cole, yeah, come on, Cole, tap in with us. Then we're gonna open up. Then once you call back in. Oh, I see somebody calling now. Hold on, co-host. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Y'all know y'all talking to the wrong person's technology. Man.
Who you telling?
Okay. We'll be using 2 tin cans and strings on me.
Is this still radio, or are you calling in for PMO radio? Okay. I think it's somebody else.
Somebody else? Okay. Get this. Welcome to Freedom All Radio.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to Freedom All Radio. Who do you have?
Octavia. My name is Octavia Mitchell.
Okay, welcome to Freedom All Radio. What's on your mind?
Is this Mr. Fred Hampton?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hi, Mr. Hampton.
Junior, that is. Chairman, Dr. All right, right on.
I spoke to you. My name is Octavia Mitchell out of Chicago, Illinois. I have a nonprofit organization, Heal Your Heart.
Okay.
And I spoke with you a few years ago. My son was murdered by CPD.
Wow. Talk to me. Give me a little more. Talk to me. What area?
So my son was murdered by the police in 2010. I met with you around 2013 in Rosen. I think we had an office over there. And I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the gentleman saying how he was freed because of the because of his fingerprints. They went back and they did the fingerprints or whatever. So I was actually really trying to find out if Northwestern helps with my son is deceased, of course, so he's not trying to be free because he's already deceased. But I'm having a hard time. I finally got the fingerprints. They were stating they were inconclusive, stated that my son was shooting at them. I finally got the electronic file of the fingerprints. And I'm trying to find out where I can possibly get an independent forensic lab. Although my son can't be free from prison, I want his name to be free. They stated that he was shooting at them. They shot him 3 times in the back as he ran away. In April 2010, this year be 15 years. And I've been trying to get a forensic lab independent forensic lab.
Right.
To go over the electronic records, because once they tested it the first time, it was destroyed. The CPD, I had to go through a whole lot. They withheld the fingerprints in their possession. They said they were in the locker for about 9 years. The attorney that I had dropped the ball on it, but I continued to fight, and I had, I think it was.
You sis?
I think it was, I forgot who it was. I'm sorry. I forgot who it was that helped me to get the electronic filing of it. But I do have it.
Okay.
And I want them to, I'm looking for someone to go over it, like I stated, to free my son's name. He's gone. He's not here anymore. But for me, for them to free his name, because if he did what you stated he did, why did you all hold his fingerprints from a gun that you all stated that he shot at you all? Why did you hold it? Then they said the Illinois State Police had the fingerprints. We went back and forth for like 9 years. And I was finally able to get the fingerprints. Now I'm really just looking for an independent lab.
Okay. Well, first of all, we say, continue Cub and community condolences to your sister. You know what I'm saying? I know ain't no timeline, no timeline, no end date. You know what I'm saying on the grievance. Let me say that. I don't know if we got there's a number. There's a contact with the innocence. Do you know, brother?
I don't have a number, but I mean, I think you can go online and be able to contact with them. Now, as far as them helping you, that I don't know, but it's definitely something worthy of bringing to their attention. I will say that.
And I throw the word to check back with us. I throw the word to our different networks also. Yeah, because I hear you. This in regards to clean his name. And just not only his name, but hiding some contradictions. Like ain't no telling how deep. I mean, like in the words with that group MJG, they say, man, I still be fresher than Colgate deep in the Watergate. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what comes out. Because a lot of times something be just like a simple case. You say, well, wait a minute, these individuals were targeted. So definitely put the pedal to the metal. And I'll put the word out, so those our listeners who tapping in with us, y'all, any contacts or resources you may have, come hit us back next week on Wednesday at 6:30 to 8:30. Any contact, get back. And so I don't know if you call, if you on Facebook, if you want to give any social media or contact, people can reach out to you. Feel free. Give a contact, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, whatever have you. The people can, if they got any possible resource that can assist you, they can send it to you.
Yes, I mean, even if I have to get an independent, because I did have a attorney, he passed away. He was trying to help me. I just want an independent forensic lab that's not connected to the police.
Yeah.
Who's going to give me some type of false stuff like it's inconclusive.
Yeah.
How's it inconclusive if you're stating that he was shooting at you?
Yeah.
And if it was, and why would you hold it? Why did you hold it in your locker and kept stating the Illinois? I had to go back and forth with the Illinois State Police with the Chicago Police back and forth. Illinois State Police stated that they didn't have it. COPA did help me get what I got, which was the inconclusive result, but they didn't help me get the electronic. I had to go further. So I know that it took a while before you all, it wasn't justice because your dad is no longer here, but they had to be accountable for it. And I know it took about 13 years or so like that for your dad. And I'm not going to give up. My son was a senior in high school. They didn't tell that part. They didn't tell the part that my son had no drugs, no alcohol, or anything in his system. They didn't tell the part. They didn't even look for the other 2-3 people that was with my son. They said it was a traffic stop. My son had a driver's license at 18.
Yeah,
and he wasn't even a driver.
I'm hearing you. I'm thinking about. I mean, even with the case of the assassination of Chairman Fred, defense of Lamar Clark, they initially said, in fact, the Chicago Tribune reported this. I think December the 5th of '69, there was a shootout, and they did it was like you said, a state autopsy initially, But my family and comrades went back and did an independent called an independent autopsy, in which his body was exhumed, and it was discovered that that they had one of the informants placing a seconal inside the Kool-Aid the night prior to technically knock a horse out. You know what I'm saying? So they laced the Kool-Aid the night prior. So so ain't no expiration date on sequence on centerpiece. Oh, that's old. That's back then. Man, push the line. Yeah, push the line.
Yeah, so if I can get anyone, like you say, if anyone's listening, anyone could direct me to an independent forensic lab, because the Illinois State didn't even want to touch it. They stated that they were so bagged up, they didn't even want to touch it. They sent it to Kobe lab or something because they knew it was some BS. When the city first said they sent it to them. And they say, you all didn't send it to us. And so they didn't even, Illinois State Police didn't even touch it. They didn't want to be bothered. By the time I got done, I say my name, they just hang up on me. They didn't even want to be bothered because they didn't want to be involved in. They knew it was some BS.
Yeah. And once you start popping that political Pandora's box open, ain't no telling who connected to what. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the city of Chicago. Frank Sinatra say Chicago, his kind of town. You did, yeah. The history with it. I'm not just talking about presence, on the history of it. Yeah.
So if anybody, just direct me to a lab. I just want a lab. Direct me to a lab that a trustworthy lab, someone that I can trust. I have the electronic filing of it, like I stated. It was a one-time test and it was destroyed. So we couldn't get any more DNA, but I do have the electronic file, and I'm looking for an independent forensic lab to look over it.
You on Facebook, sis? Give a context.
I just actually requested you to be my friend, and you accepted. That's how I'm watching you.
Oh, right on. Okay, right on. But give it so people can know. Okay, clean fish to you, sis. Right on. Give it so people, so our listeners can know where to send if they have information, where to send it to. Give out your Facebook address.
My Facebook is Latill, LYTILL, the boss, all together, THEBOSS. Latill the boss.
Latill the boss. So anybody, again, y'all, put the word out. Tags like independent. Yeah.
Independent forensic lab that tests fingerprints and things. I've been running into a lot of labs that just like do DNA for paternity or whatever.
Yeah.
I do independent for a police shooting, and that's what makes it hard. I need someone that I can trust that's not connected. Like you stated, they're all connected.
Yeah.
I've even tried to go. I don't care if it's out of town. I travel.
Yeah. Right on.
So I was just about to say you gotta go out of state.
Yeah. I'll make real talk. Yep. I'm speaking that flyer that's on the today's show on that massive. I'm speaking in Minnesota this weekend, so I'll make sure I'll put that call out. This is gonna be a packed house this Friday in Minnesota. So I'll a lot of times you do gotta go go to another city, another town. Yeah.
That's fine. I'm willing to do what I need to do.
So you're right. Right on, sister. Right on.
All right. And I thank you for listening to me. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for tapping in.
Am I able to inbox, or how can I send you my information?
Yep. You can. You can inbox me on Facebook. And we also feel free. We here every Wednesday too. Every Wednesday, 6:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay.
All right, sister. So stay strong. Thank you, sister. Right on.
All right.
Freedom on. We letting the spirit of making history, taking history, taping history, y'all. Live and direct, y'all. Okay. We at 708-223-8953, y'all. 708-223-8953. We in here talking about, what's the history, the impact being held captive, being framed up, snatched up, more common than you think. More common than you think, y'all. Real talk. So tap in again. I'm not on my live on YouTube, but we are on live. We on YouTube, but on IntellectualRadio.com. So yeah, we're gonna make sure we send that link to our brother too, Paul. Yeah, shout out to you, Paul. Real talk. Any other callers want to call in, get any input? Tap in with us. Minnesota, if y'all in the building, call in about this. Give us a more detail about this event. Mississippi, that event is going on down there. The bus ride. Call in. Call in. We usually close at 8:30, but might close out a little early because we gotta get stuff together. Speaking of this event this Friday, and this been we say quality time outweighs quantity time. This been a powerhouse. Powerhouse, program. Yes, indeed. Anything else you want to add in, bro?
Just tell my brothers, that's behind them walls. Keep your head up as always. Hope, you know what I mean. Keep fighting.
Yeah, that's right.
My heart is with you guys.
Right on. Yes, indeed. Never forget. We got this thing we call the Harriet Tubman Code. You know what I'm saying? And never forget those who are still held captive, y'all. Real talk. Never forget those who are still held captive. Straight up. And so we didn't, I'm just flashback. You know what I'm saying? So many, yep. Man, free them all. Keep your heads up, eyes when fists clench, y'all. As a matter of fact, I want to put this call back out again. One prisoner, one contact. That was a campaign we had some years ago. We still got it. But that means basically at any given time, everybody should be able to give us a status check or update on some respective prisoner. What's their ID number? Are they in isolation? What's their, what's their next court date? I mean, whether it be me, Abu Jamal, or your cousin, whatever. So again, and let's post them names and ID numbers up on social media. You know what I'm saying? One prisoner, one contact. Because again, what I said before, that prisoners in Illinois who've been dead over 15 years, but the state still getting money for them because no accountability. Some of Adolf Hitler, the Fuhrer of Nazi Germany, some of his initial victims of the gas chambers was ones who did not receive any mail. Coming back at y'all. Welcome to Freedom Radio.
Chairman, this is Paul Watson III. How are you?
Oh, wow. Right on. Yes, indeed, my brother. We well on this saying good to hear your voice. Yes, indeed. Are you been listening in?
I have been listening in. I just wanted to say that, Troshan, his story is amazing, and it's the story of resilience.
Right on.
You talk about free them all.
Yes.
We've had some of our brothers free, but we need the rest of them free. But Troshan is energy to all of those brothers that's been in there locked down.
Right on.
And one day they coming home.
So you're right. Right on, man. Hey, we just this is we looking forward. You know what I'm saying to it being told, and people need that because again, battle fatigue is real. You know what I'm saying, and in those a lot of times you get isolated. Like man, I'm only I'm talking a foreign language. You know what I'm saying, what's going on, so on and so forth. So I just want to commend you. You know what I'm saying. I guess the team also. Definitely our brother Troshan, you know what I'm saying, sitting here, you know what I'm saying, to get this out, because a lot of these are conversations that a lot of times people say, I want to hear about them. In our community, we told to keep it moving, to suck it in and keep going, sweep it under the rug. No, this has to be addressed. This has to be acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? Wait till election time, wait till Black History Month. No, this has to be intertwined in our poetry sets, the barbershop, the beauty salon, the pool. And I'm not talking about defeating type, but like you say, it's inspiring to say, hey man, this man. I mean, I'm moving relationship and doing business, so on and so forth. However, let me be very clear. Man, this they'll say like Park said about that rose grew from concrete. You know what I'm saying? Let me put in context. Is it so like you say, it's so many others, man, that you know what I'm saying, may not be on the venue with us talking about this here, but this can be used as a template, a prototype that people can relate to. Say, oh man, I can dig that. I've been through some situations too. I didn't know. I thought we were supposed to tuck it, saying, keep it moving. No, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can acknowledge, saying, what happened to us and still keep on moving. But we have to, because it's toxic just to hold us in. It's toxic, and if you don't speak about it, you ain't no telling where you get released at. You know,
that's right.
Real talk.
And then, Chairman, there was something else that, as I started like really listening into Troshan's story.
Yes.
His story is only one piece of a huge, large problem that you were just referring to. And when I started doing some research, I found out that Cook County is the number one place in America where they have wrongful conviction.
Man,
so there is something specific,
yes,
in that area. You talk about the Commander Burge and
yes,
some of those people who
yes,
were, a part of that.
Yes.
They knew that, at one point in time there was, a large number of murders going on in Chicago.
Yes.
But their answer to that was to just get young men in there and to coerce them into
Yes.
confession.
Yes.
And so once they see those numbers go up, they justify their job.
Yes.
And so, but in the meantime, what they're doing is they're stealing lives from our young black
Real
males.
talk.
And so people that had nothing to do with these crimes are now going away for 22, 23, more years.
Football
and their
numbers.
lives are being torn away from them.
Yes.
Troshan talked about the fact that, he didn't have his 20s, he didn't have his 30s,
Man.
he didn't have no chance to mature,
Yes.
to go through some of those things that you learn in life.
Yes.
He had to be behind bars for that. And so many of our brothers are going through that. So it's just like you said, we definitely need to be able to make sure that we address this, and we address these issues. And, we're working on, I don't know if Troshan told you, but we're working on a documentary that will also spread a lot of light on this situation. And, that's what needs to happen more than anything else. And, the power sometimes of documentaries,
Yes.
it gets into those other communities and gets into those other places so that they can hear and see what the real problems are.
So you're right. Well, we looking forward to this, to this piece, to come out. This should be premiered and played. The barbershops to, even if we got, rent down some of these big movie theaters and, sit down, watch it, dialogue, and discuss it, the schools, you name it. So we looking forward to we looking forward to this piece. Matter of fact, I'll be touching down with you ASAP, brother. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just want to commend you, you and the Lady of Rage, the work that you guys are doing. It's much so needed. And, keep doing it, my brother. Free them all, free them all.
Man, free them all, man. Right on. Love and respect. Hey, it's a small world. Thoroughbreds, recognized thoroughbreds. We connect right up, man. Again,
yes,
we honored that had a brother here. We honored you that you called in. And again, y'all, we looking forward to this documentary. Real talk. Because this is Minister UEP said our people do not read as much as we would like for them to read. And so and we say we gotta be innovative. You know what I'm saying? That man, we gotta get it to them. Documentaries, movies, talk, some discussion, everything. Get it to them. Get the word to them. What's happening? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
If I could, I want to give a shout out to Nate Cole, because Nate is the man behind kind of making a lot of stuff happen. And
so you're right.
Got to give a shout out to Nate, man. He is he works for Sean's team, and he kind of makes a lot of things happen. So
man, shout out to Nate Cole. Okay, man. Shout out to Nate Cole. No
Nate
doubt
the
about
Great.
It. Right on, man.
Right on.
Yeah, I appreciate that because again, the different dynamics and individuals and people. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, we don't know them, and I tell you, see the end result. But again, sometimes, in most cases, be deprived of that community. I tell you, it's different. It's different dynamics that are necessary to make that meal happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Nico. Yes, indeed. Right on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And shout out to all y'all listening. So we need y'all to help. I need y'all to reshare this, repost this. You know what I'm saying? And keep push the word. Y'all looking forward to this documentary coming out. You know what I'm saying? And repost this. You'll be surprised that even in your household, your family, your block. You start throwing some of these names around, you'll be surprised. I've been places and people. I've seen the responses on Catch Faces when I say Boudreaux, Lieutenant John Burge. You can see it. You see, like, whoa, what happened? You know, a lot of times people say, "Oh man, I'm just glad I got out. I don't want to talk about it." You know what I'm saying? We got to address these contradictions, y'all. Ain't no statute of limitations on the torture and the terror that we've been subjected to. Real talk.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. My brother Paul Watson in the building. The third in the building.
Thank you,
yes,
brother.
indeed.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Continue on. Let's keep fighting this fight.
Let's keep fighting. Okay, right on. Y'all heard these names. I hear y'all see. I mean, these man, Nate Cole.
Yeah, Nathaniel
Cole, man, Paul, man, all y'all, man, shout out. So y'all, we gonna be on. Matter of fact, get your seat, get your front seat ready for the documentary. You know what I'm saying? It'll be something that, as the term I use, I do. We look forward to this being rated R for reality, and it's something we recommend your children see it. Because I was Sacramento, and his brother was going to the barber shop, and his son was about 8 or 9. And he told us, he said, man, you Chairman Fred Hampton? I said, yeah. He said, I'll be right back until the son would go in. And he came back out. He said, man, I said, what happened? He said, no, I want to ask you some questions, but I want my son to be. I said, why? I said, well, you know, why? He said, well, I know, man, about the police. I said, no. I said, brother, all due respect, man, bring your son back out if you can. This is conversation, you know, so we got to have this, you know what I'm saying, with else. Because I say, that's why I'm saying they don't talk to their children about sex or something. You know, oh, somebody gonna talk to them about it. It might not be on your terms though. This a lot of times, they first contact. Like I said, I mean, the police. We gotta what they call it, their talk. We have to. I mean, from the womb. I'm talking about before they get here. Man, it gotta be heads up. It's like I think about this thing. It was on National Geographic or something, and they had these maybe the antelopes or something. And as soon as the baby be born, man, them leopards be at them. I'm talking about, they be waiting for them to drop the baby. You know what I'm saying? They at them. You know what I'm saying? They feasting on them. And so soon as they gotta come out the womb, drop, man, stop, drop, and roll. You know what I'm saying? Man, you under attack. And we have to put that in context with our people.
It definitely shows parallels to our society.
Yeah.
It's nature.
Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And, man, they say these jokers see us like prey. I'm talking. It's a whole business. I'm talking, man. The machine, the ego. I'm talking, man, the police, the state's attorney, judge, the whole lick, the media. You know what I'm saying, man? The music industry, you name it. They like, man, go, man. How you gonna feed the beast? Oh, we know where to go. They see our community like a bottomless trough. You know what I'm saying? Just go eat them. Go eat them, you know what I'm saying? Get them to reproduce. Get their babies before they get here. Count them up, you know? We got to resist. Minister UAP News also said that if we don't fight back or we don't acknowledge this, it can be defined as nothing less than reactionary suicide. We refuse to commit reactionary suicide. And these are our children in particular. A lot of times they come in that. Brother said one time, he said, Cham, what animal? We was in Shawnee, but we was in Shawnee in isolation. He said, hey, Cham, he was in said. He said, what animal do our people remind you of? So I said, I said, man, I said, elephant. He said, no. I said, well, the panther. He said, no. He said, man, the rabbit would leave his children open for attack, and it hurt when he said it. I said, damn, man. I said, you have to cut like that, man. But it hurt when he said that, you know. And we can't do that. We can't roll like that. We can't roll like that, y'all. Real talk. Y'all tap in with us before we club out. We now have some phenomenal calls. Oh man, I see some legends. I see some phenomenal people tapping in with us. Yes, indeed. I see some names on this Facebook that know exactly what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That yeah, I see some names that know exactly what we're talking about. Been there, yeah. If not still there, I recognize some names. Yes, indeed. So we gonna club out shortly, y'all. I'm gonna keep y'all posted. Make sure that independent was forensics. The sister go back and check. I think make sure post her name, so we can get their contact. Somebody said they ain't letting us go there quick. Welcome to Freedom On Radio. Okay. Welcome to Freedom On Radio.
Fremont, let's co-host. Come on back in.
Fremont, right on, co-host. Yep. You take your. I don't know if you. Paula just called in. Yep.
Yeah, I heard him.
Right on. Him. So you're right. Yep. So give us some. We're gonna close out in the I says you on makeup time. Any more comments or questions?
Well, I did have a question with the arresting officers. Are they still?
Good question.
A part of the force, still working, still fabricating stories and stuff like that?
Well, Kenneth Boudreaux he's still on the force. Actually, when I was trying to settle my lawsuit, the civil suit that I had against the city, spoke out against it. Ironically,
ain't that.
But the other cop,
arrogance,
he's in Florida. They retired him in '98 after the Ryan Harris case. So he's down there just, I guess enjoying the sun, kicking his feet up. He's no longer on the force, though.
Of course. And it was no type of, when you all went to trial and it was found out that these confessions were coerced, it was no, and it's kind of like a rhetorical question, of course, but were they not punished in any way? Their punishment is administrative pay, administrative leave with pay and stuff like that, where they didn't have to face any type of consequences?
No. None. None.
Per usual.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Richard Pryor, comedic genius. Richard Pryor say you go down to the courthouse looking for justice. That's what he found. Just us. You dig down the courthouse and this is something in police stations, you name it. But again, we can never get used to this. We got to challenge it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, quote that from Silas Shakur, you got always remember to be able to distinguish what's normal, what's abnormal. Say how it's supposed to go. Is what my obligation. This ain't living. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how you try to theorize this or make it sound good. You know what I'm saying? This system is Machiavellian with this term we refer to as the sidetracking of the slave. Sidetracking of the slave is like case examples is right? Rodney King was being beat. The narrative was, was he speeding? As opposed to about the beating. You look at different political prisoners cases. I think about even different cases from Mr. Ford, Mr. Hoover. When they go to trial, they think be like, is this Chicago's most notorious street gang? You don't even not even talking about the case, not even talking about what's happening, the charge, and this is a tactic that this system does with our people in particular, that get you sidetracking on attacking you, criminalizing you, and we got up there, and y'all. And I think back in Detroit when the police had murdered this brother named Malice Green, and the police said, well, when they murdered him, he was supposed to be have cocaine, have crack. And the people said, we don't care if he was have heroin. Don't convict them police and see how we get down up here. And that's the position, that the confidence that we have as a people. And I tell people, if you switch the narrative and say what happened to us, I see Cook County Jail is right down the street from the Humane Society with the animals I kept there. And if you said the amount of, like I talk about, like even in Cook County Jail, they're doing the coronavirus first, the case of Nicholas Lee and others, it was defined as the hotbed of the coronavirus. And and people just being straight out murdered one way or another. If you switch that narrative around and say these dogs in the Humane Society were treated this way, it'd be an uproar from PETA and every other institution. And so, so as a people, we got to really up the ante, so these conversations and really, as I said, I'm glad you asked early on stuff sometimes we take it for granted. You asked the ages, and people need to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Man, you need to hear that. 15, 16, we need that need to be reiterated over and over. We need to hear that. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So y'all, hey, we get our marching orders, y'all tune in. Those who gonna be in Minnesota, I am there this Friday. The flyer has the information on it. That's on the bottom right corner. I'm be there speaking this Friday. We got some more upcoming. We here on Wednesdays. Man, y'all touch down with us at the Hampton House. They're speaking to us there. Say the Hampton House at gmail.com. Go to the website, thehamptonhouse.org. Hamptonhouse.org. And we working on up and ante, y'all. Those renovations. So come on, whatever supplies and support you can, come on through there. We are there at the Hampton House, y'all. 804 South 17th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, in the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Again, this is another one for the history books. And I struggle. Take these episodes, y'all, like they did in Timbuktu. They would take information, they would bury it. So future generations come back and look. Because you know what I'm saying? We don't want people to come have to be shocked that I can't believe this happened. Replay these episodes. Play them while you riding. Play them in the beauty salons, the barber shops. You know what I'm saying? Tie this in. Don't say that's that political stuff, that's that black stuff. You don't be connected to it. We got to make this a way of life. A way of life. Keep your heads up, your eyes open, your fists clenched. We say, what's the call? Free them all, brother. Again, we appreciate you, man. The doors are open for you 24/7, 7 days a week. Although we on Wednesday, we gonna say we'll pull episode in a minute on it. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And you know, bro. Hey,
I'll be back once the documentary is released.
Oh, so you're right, man. The doors are open. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
got a book coming out too.
What? Oh, hey, you are also inspirational.
Yeah.
You are inspirational. I said, I'm hearing you. I gotta, man. I gotta tighten up. I gotta make some moves. Yeah. It's inspirational. And you got our co-host back calling because you know about the heavies out, man. Real talk. Yes, indeed. Co-host. I say, listen. You know about the major players, the major factors back online with us though. Yeah. But it's been a phenomenal episode, y'all. We thank you all. Yes, we thank our co-hosts. We thank all the callers that call in, and most of all, the people in general, y'all. For as many as you say that without the people, revolution is impossible, y'all. Appreciate y'all energy, y'all call-ins, y'all comments. The people we appreciate. IntellectualRadio.com. You know what I'm saying? Keep your heads up, your eyes open, your fists clenched. What's the call? Free them all.
Free them all.
Free them all.
And this is only one remedy. I gotta be smarter than my enemies. Wade in the water.